Bonjour. Hello. Welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part 12 of our full walkthrough of the game. In the last part, we went through the open world section of Altus Plateau, doing all of this along with Capital Outskirts, stopping just before entering Lanedale. And everything I throw into storage is the important stuff that we got. It's a lot, so I'm not going to go through it individually, but while we're doing this, I would just like to say that I've been noticing a slight audio delay recently, so I changed some settings and that should hopefully be fixed now. But with that being said, again, everything being thrown into storage is stuff that we got in the previous part. So if you did not watch that, or skipped some of it, and this stuff looks interesting to you, you can go back and watch that to see how to get any of this stuff. Here, we can start off by heading into Mt Gelmir and Volcano Manor. Now, you can start by going either through Lower Mt Gelmir or through Upper Mt Gelmir. Now, everything that you can get in Upper can also be gotten in Lower if you know what you're doing. So I'm going to be starting at the Erdtree Gazing Hill and going through Lower Mt Gelmir, getting everything notable in Lower and Upper from here. So, starting at this side of Grace, if you're following my build exactly, I changed it a bit, so this is a good time to swap to these new spells and talismans. And then we can make our way up this hill. You may notice this statue. There's a boss here, and we are going to come back to this statue after the boss, just as a point of reference. With the boss being this Tibia Mariner. This is the most dangerous Tibia Mariner in the base game, on account of it having this giant summonable skeleton, along with a bunch of small, normal-sized skeletons. That being said, the most dangerous Tibia Mariner in the base game is still just a Tibia Mariner, meaning it is at most an inconvenience. So, either just stay mobile to avoid the skeletons, or kill all of the skeletons. Both are pretty easy, and that gets you a death route. Here you can get a Smithing Stone 5 in the building right next to where the Tibia Mariner teleports to. Then we can run back to the eastern side of this little lake section, get to the statue, just as a point of reference, as we can now head over to these stairs on the right side and start making our way up. At the highest point in elevation, on the northern side of these ruins, you'll find a little, somewhat hidden door. You may want a lantern for this because it can get a bit dark in places. But this is the Wyndham Catacombs. So heading on in here, watch out for this trap. If you don't care about crafting, you can skip this part, as the main reason we're going down here is for a cookbook. But heading inside, this first room with enemies has a saw blade that slams down, along with 2 imps that throw lightning pots at you. In the next room, you have a guy hanging off a wall, along with a second imp around the corner, waiting to ambush. So, be careful, be smart. Then moving forward, you have this room that has a lot of those little flesh of Aldrich things. The little piles of sludge and goo that fall from the ceiling, along with some of these putrid corpses, and a knight. Now you can kill all of the putrid sludge goo things and putrid corpses if you want, or you can just run past them to kill the knight. Depends on if you want to be thorough or fast. Either way, after defeating the knight, you can head up this ladder, where there will be another ceiling imp. And do be careful, as there is another trap here. There is a stone sword key wall there. It is not worth it. Now you can head up there to pull the lever to get access to the boss. Whether you do that or not, you do eventually have to come down here. Running forward, there's another electricity trap. You can use that to easily kill these 2 giant crabs if you want. Then there, the purple item by the crabs is a cookbook, and then a lever leading to a shortcut door that allows you to leave. And as you could probably tell by me not pulling the lever, the boss isn't really worth it unless you want to get as many runes as possible. But if you're just looking for notable items, you can skip the boss. As for the cookbook, again, that's the main reason we came here, and it allows you to craft a lightning wreath and lightning arrows. Though there were a few glowworts that were there, in case you want some extra stuff. From there, heading out and straight forward, we can head down to the building that had the Smithing Stone 5 with the Tibia Mariner. We can jump down and turn to the right, and heading northwest, we can get the pop-up for Mt Gelmir. And this is the true start of Lower Mt Gelmir. Here we can also get volcanic stones, a crafting material, and the main crafting material of this area. You can also get the Ash of War for Barrage. Then, right after this first giant rock thing, you can grab yourself a golden seed. Shortly after, you can get a smithing stone 5. Now up here, there is a cave, and this is just a reminder that this walkthrough isn't about getting absolutely everything, just the items that are notable. Nothing in that cave is notable, so we're simply going to move on. Those little red, orange plumes that come out of the ground will stun and damage you, so be sure to avoid those. And they do have a slight lingering hitbox, so do be careful. But around here, where the water ends and you get back to fully dry land, there will be a set of grace that you can pick up. And from there, you can head north and just head forward with the giant rock wall face to your right. At this tree, you'll find a stone sword key. Then taking a left and making your way towards this fort, you can make your way inside. It doesn't always happen, but most of the time, this fire monk will follow you in. So, better safe than dead. And heading into Fort Led, there will be this fire prelate enemy. You can kill them to guarantee Prelate's Inferno Crozier. This is a strength-based colossal weapon with a pretty cool skill. The helmet is not guaranteed, and I want this run to be as repeatable as possible with as little RNG as possible, so I'm going to be discarding that and moving forwards. At the top of these stairs, you can move forward, and then left over this wall, you get the Fire Scorpion Charm. If you're familiar with Dark Souls 3, this is the Fire Clutch Ring. But from there, we can head back to Seathwater Terminus, and we can make our way up, back towards the fort, but instead of going inside, we are going to take a left. Running to the left for a little bit, you'll find a magma worm boss. And as usual, they love to start their fights by charging multiple times, leaving just a ton of lava on the ground. And the lava is very dangerous, especially because as they move to attack, they can drag you into the lava, and that will damage you and stun you, and leave you unable to dodge as they attack to do even more damage. So, keep yourself safe when dealing with those charge attacks and the lava that they spew. With this magma worm specifically, you can thankfully stay on Torrent. That adds a massive amount of mobility, allowing you to run around faster and avoid the lava. So, Once they stop charging and start attacking, it's better to hop off your horse. They love to charge. Upon defeating them, you will get a good chunk of runes, a dragon heart, and the ability to purchase a new incantation at the Dragon Communion Church. And importantly, if you've done his quest, you can find Alexander here and safely talk to him. You get the jar headpiece. Talk to him again in order to continue his quest line. Then continue heading eastward yourself. Past those demi-humans, you will find some free runes you can pick up. That's how you know that you're headed the correct way. Shortly after them, you'll find this statue that must be broken by a colossal-sized enemy. And shortly after that, you'll find a colossal-sized enemy. You can put 2 and 2 together and use that bear to help you get 3 smithing stone 6. From there, you can just continue heading eastward, heading up the mountain. The bear may or may not follow you. Beyond that building, you can grab the pulley crossbow. You can grab that Sight of Grace if you so desire. Then continuing up, you will eventually find yourself in the Hermit Village. There are plenty of demi-human enemies here, including a demi-human chieftain that will probably get aggressive. There is a second one, but as long as you don't get close to them, they won't aggro onto you. So, on the right side of the Hermit Village, there's another cluster of these enemies. Upon taking them out, you can safely get a Starlight Shard. And nearby, towards the center of the village, you can find the Herodes Glintstone Crown, increasing your endurance and intelligence stats by 2 points each, though to the detriment of FP. You can also get the Your Beautiful Prattling Pate. And in a shack nearby, you can get the Errant Sorcerer set. Once unaltered, this robe becomes one of my personal favorites in the entire series. And just beyond the village, there's a demi-human boss along with a bunch of sorcerers surrounding them. The boss can be taken out for a decent chunk of runes and a memory stone. Just beyond them, you can get the Comet Azure sorcery by talking to that NPC, along with this site of grace that we will be coming back to. From there, you can ride up this giant rock and drop down, ending lower Mt Gelmir and putting you a decent chunk of the way into upper Mt Gelmir. Again, upper Mt Gelmir starts at Bridge of Iniquity, but we won't be going there at all, though we will be getting everything notable in upper Mt Gelmir. So we can start by heading down here. Bringing us down into Gelmir's Hero's Grave. If you don't have the skill for Quickstep, then you may want to pull out a weapon that has the Quickstep skill. If you've been following along with this walkthrough and not selling anything, you should have the Miser Accord. Now, running into here, there are little cubbies to the left and right. So you can skip the first one and jump into the second one if you're fast. Then you can jump out, and again, skip the first one and head straight into the second one if you're fast. So if you're unsure, don't be afraid to take them one at a time, as it is better to be safe than dead. From there, you can grab this Grave Glowwort 7, being the first that you can get. Then you can wait for that to go up. Then you can head down into this first little cubby. As you can see there, the lava really slows you down. This is why we want something with Quickstep, as the Quickstep allows you to move through the lava much faster, saving you a bit of time and health. Getting to the bottom and turning to the left, we can find some safe ground to stand on, along with the Ringed Finger, a quality-based hammer with a unique skill. From there, we can head out and head straight across to the other side here, where in the back left, we find another Grave Glowwort 7 and some drops down, getting us another Grave Glowwort 7 and this door. This is when you can swap back to your normal weapon. And that door leads us to the boss of this hero grave. That being a red wolf of the champion. High mobility, magic, and pretty decently high damage as well, but not a ton of health. Take your timings, and the boss should not be too difficult. Now, that jump, not the attacking jump, but the one that they use to get away from you in great distance, you may recognize that as Sif has it as well, or some version of it. That slam attack and that lunging bite attack are both easily punishable. As it leaves the boss right next to you, and they stand still for a bit. Defeating them gets you a good chunk of runes, the Bloodhound Knight Flow Spirit Ash, and a death root in this chest. So instead of teleporting out, we are going to head back up these stairs. Getting back into this little section, you don't want to head into the lava, but you do want to head up. And you can make your way up by doing a run jump onto this horse chariot thing, letting it carry you up, then waiting for it to turn around for you to then jump off. From there, you can kill that enemy, getting the Mantis Blade, a quality curved sword with a unique heavy attack. Wait until the horse chariot heads down, then you can drop to the side of that walking section, make it into this little secret path. There is a dangerous enemy here, but upon defeating them, you can pick up the Bloodhound Knight armor set, along with the Gelmir Knight armor set. From there, we're going to head back to the Primeval Sorcerer Azure set of grace. Don't forget to level up. From there, you can climb up the giant rock and drop down once more. Though, instead of going into the hero grave, we are going to head straight forward this time. At this giant rock, you can jump up here, onto this tower. If you can't get the jump, there is a ladder that you can climb up. And at the very top of this tower, you can find the pulley bow. This is a quality medium bow. Quite possibly the best in the game. From there, we can jump down and make our way towards this glowing message, as that leads us up onto this giant rock. Where we can find a grafted scion. if you're not comfortable fighting these things, you can run past it, climb the ladder, and at the top of the ladder you can quit the game, load back in, then slide down the ladder, and that will actually kill the enemy. But down here we can get the Scavenger's Curved Sword. This being a quality curved sword with native bleed buildup, and it can be infused, making it widely beloved. To the left of the first ladder, there is a second ladder. Insert Lord of the Rings meme here. At the top of the second ladder, you will find this merchant. He sells a stone sword key, the ability to craft volcano pots, making use of those volcanic stones you found. A guilty hood, though you can get one of these for free in Landell. And finally, the Confessor set. Armor of the Confessor starting class. From there, you'll find this third and thankfully final large ladder. Once you get to the top here, you can head straight forward, drop down, then take a left to find this bridge. Heading across this bridge, you will find a set of grace. Here, I decided to wait until morning, just to make things brighter for the sake of visual clarity. This has no effect on gameplay. But you can take this Spirit Spring jump up, and find a full-grown Falling Star Beast. Do be careful, as this is a very dangerous boss. Made slightly awkward by the fact that you're not on flat ground, but are instead in this giant crater. And so the elevation change can throw people off. Mix that with them having attacks that throw rocks, which is a massive AoE, and typically has a weird delayed timing. This can be a very difficult boss for a lot of people. It also has two fairly unique attacks that not a lot of enemies have. I'm not even sure if the other Falling Star Beasts have them. With that being said, don't expect me to no-hit too many bosses. I'm not that good at the game, at least not consistently. But with that being said, we can get a good chunk of change, a Somber Stone 6, 5 Smithing Stone 6, and the Falling Star Beast Jaw. A quality colossal weapon that does magic damage and has a unique skill. Though the unique skill was sadly nerfed some time ago. That being said, we can get a Starlight Shard. Then if you head straight west, I went a bit too far north. But if you head straight west, you'll find this giant rock that you can ride along and then jump down to start making your way slightly down the mountain. Past some enemies, you'll find a golden seed here. And after picking that up, you can make your way towards the manor. There is a invisible scarab there with an Ash of War. It is not worth it. I will say that right now. There's also 2 ways to get into the manor. But the other way doesn't really let you leave because that front door is closed and you can only open it from this direction. So that is why I'm showing this way. That being said, there's a little more to do in the mountain itself. So after grabbing the Volcano Manor Set of Grace, we are going to head right back out. Running past all of the enemies purely for the sake of time. Once we get pretty close to that golden seed, we'll take a wide U-turn to the left, start making our way down. If you see hands exploding out of the ground, you're heading in the right direction. Heading further down, you will find the map for this area. There's a set of grace to the right that you can pick up. There's not much reason to skip it. Now, sometimes there's a colossal worm face there, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes when they're there, if you stick to the right, they'll ignore you. Sometimes they'll aggro onto you. It's not consistent at all. But if they are there and they do aggro on you, you can just quit the game and load back in once you get pretty close to the minor Erd tree in order to avoid dealing with them. You can also kill the colossal worm face, but who wants to do that? Here, at the minor Erd tree, there is an ulcerated tree spirit. Bringing them down gets you another good chunk of change, the leaden hard tier, and the cerulean hidden tier. The leaden hard tier boosts poise, and more importantly, the cerulean hidden tier eliminates all FP consumption. It only lasts about 10 seconds, but that's no FP lost, and you can use things that you don't even have the max FP to use when you have that active. So it's pretty good. But heading onto the bridge and jumping down, you can get a stone sword key. And after killing just one dog, you can make your way to this shack, where you'll be invaded by Anastasia, the Tarnished Eater. Upon taking her out, you'll be given the butchering knife that has a sacred affinity already put onto it, but you can get rid of that sacred affinity just by putting any other Ash of War onto it. So, but more importantly, you can get Golden Vow. With just a 25 faith requirement, you can use this incantation to increase your damage and defense. Widely beloved. And that is everything of note in Lower and Upper Mt Gelmir. So now we can head back into the Volcano Manor, and we can start making progress in here. The first thing we're going to do is head up these stairs. Where we can get a smithing stone 6. Along with meet another invader. This one being Inquisitor Giza. Taking them out gets you Giza's Wheel. This being a quality colossal weapon with native bleed buildup and a unique skill. From there, heading back to the Set of Grace, we can talk to Tanith here. Choose to join the Volcano Manor to get the drawing room key. Then, from the Grace, you can head into this hallway where you can open the second door to the left. Here you will once again find Raya, who we first met in Liurnia. You will meet Bernal once again. Choose you understand. And you will also find Diallos once more. He has a ton of dialogue that you have to get through in order to complete his quest. So get through all of that. Then you can pick up the letter from Volcano Manor. You can then talk to Tanith to get some more dialogue, where she tells you what the letter is about. And you'll find your first mark in Limgrave. So you can mark that and head to Warmaster's Shack, as that is the closest, easiest site of grace. From there, you can just make your way over to where the mark was on the map. Where you will find this red summon sign allowing you to invade Old Knight Eastvan. Upon defeating him, you will get a rune arc. But on top of that, once returning to your own world, you will also be granted the scaled armor set. With this, pound for pound is one of the best defensive sets in the entire game. Not just physically, but also when it comes to the elemental damage types. So if you need good defense, this is one of the best armor sets you can go with. Personally, I find it to be pretty ugly, but some people might think it looks good. And I cannot deny just how great it is defensively speaking. From there, after defeating him, we can talk to Tarnished to get Magma Shot. This is a dual int faith sorcery that does fire damage. And as you can see, Patches is now here. So you can talk to him in order to get some more dialogue and also get access to his shop once more. From there, you can talk to Raya for more dialogue. You can talk to Bernal for more dialogue. And this also gets you access to his shop of Ashes of War. And he also now sells Eruption and Assassin's Gambit, which he did not before. From there, you can pick up your second letter from Volcano Manor, with this one being much closer. Old Altus Tunnel is the closest, but if you didn't care to get Old Altus Tunnel for whatever reason, Erdtree Gazing Hill and Shaded Castle Rampart are also pretty close. However you decide to get over here, the mark is on this little hill, with this one letting you invade Relay the Idol. This one is a bit unique because they have a Scarlet Rot crossbow and a Scarlet Rot dagger. So if you get hit too much, that can add some complications. But taking them out, you will once more get a rune arc. And then upon returning to your own world, you will also get Crepus's Vial. This is a talisman that eliminates all sound made by moving. So if you're familiar with Dark Souls, this is the Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring. We can now head back to Volcano Manor to give Tarnished the good news. Upon defeating him, you'll be rewarded with the Serpent Bone Blade. This is a dexterity-based katana with native poison buildup. And from here, you can talk to Patches to get his letter, getting you another invasion option. You can also talk to Bernal to get his letter for another invasion option, along with the red letter, and Diallos should be gone by this point. Now you can head to Magma or Makar for one of those invasions, and the mark is inside the boss room. That's another one of the reasons I chose to go through Magma or Makar instead of the Grand Lift. But here, you can invade the Great Horned Tragoth, with him wielding the Giant Crusher, the Arbalest, and having a massive, very defensive armor set. As you can see, he can take a lot more punishment than the other people we've had to deal with so far. Upon taking him out, as usual, we get a rune arc, and then upon returning to our own world, we get a second unique reward in his bull goat armor set. This is the Elden Ring version of Hovel's set. Now, with the final two invasions are here in Lanedale, and way up here in the mountaintops of the Giants. So, because this is the Mt Gelmir and Volcano Manor part of the walkthrough, we won't be doing those. Instead, we will be doing them in their respective parts of Lanedale and mountaintops. For now, we can talk to Patches, tell him that the request is done. Then we can reload the area by resting at a site of grace. And we can talk to him once more and ask about our reward. This gets us the Magma Whip Candlestick, a dexterity faith-based whip with fire damage and a unique skill. From there, we can open this first door on the right in the hallway. Where we can grab this perfume bottle and head through this illusory wall. From there, we can run straight forward down these stairs. There is a difficult enemy here, but defeating them guarantees you the Bloodhound Claws. A quality claw with native bleed buildup, a powerful skill in Bloodhound Step, and it can still be infused. Widely beloved. So continuing on, we will get a set of grace. This one being a prison town church. From there, we can head through this door, leading us into the main legacy dungeon part of Volcano Manor. Heading to the right, we'll see one of the main enemies of the area. From here, you can go forward through the streets or left across the rooftops. The best path, in my opinion, is to start off by going left across the rooftops. There are a handful of these like random corpse enemies, so it is safer to take them out from a distance if you can. If not, don't worry about them too much, but you want to drop down here and head across this little Z-shaped rooftop, where you'll find another one of these snake lizard creatures, along with 3 of these corpse guys throwing putrid pots. Upon taking them out, you can grab this golden rune and take some drops down, giving yourself a smithing stone 5. And in this little back alley section, you'll find an omen killer enemy. Defeating them guarantees that you get the Great Omen Killer Cleaver. This is a quality great axe with native bleed buildup, a powerful skill, and it can be infused. Widely beloved. Though that's not all that this back alley section has, as through this little doorway you can also find the Erdtree seal. The faith requirement of 40 is pretty high, but it has good faith scaling, and it's very good for those higher faith builds, especially if you're using healing incantations, as those incantations purely scale off of faith. But here, in this little side doorway, there are 2 dogs. And if you can get through the 2 of them, then you can head through and take a right. Do be careful, as this demands a pretty steep jump, but if you can land it, you are rewarded with a stone sword key. From there, you can make your way down into the lower dregs of the manor. And in this little island section, there are 2 smithing stone 6. Then moving along the outer wall, we can grab a golden rune and make our way up to these rooftops that will allow us to escape from the lava. Do be careful, as the game requires a jump there. But past those 2 corpse enemies, you can take this jump, and that loops you back to where the 2 dogs were. So that is a little self-contained section that you can do if you want. Either way, heading out of those gates and up these stairs, you can take a U-turn to the right and continue heading up the stairs. past this Iron Maiden, you can head onto these rooftops very easily. You get yourself a smithing stone 6. And after taking out that second dog, you can drop back down and then head over to the scarab that was making all that noise. A little twinkling sound. Taking them out, get to a somber stone 5. Then you can head through the gates, up the stairs, but instead of taking a U-turn to the right, you can now head to the left. After killing that enemy, you can head to the right of this building. You find a ladder. Climbing up and walking straight forward, you can drop down into this little secret section of the building where you can kill a second Omen Killer enemy or a second Great Omen Killer Cleaver if you want to dual wield them, along with the Albinoric Staff and Mask. The weapon is an Intelligence Arcane based Glintstone Staff, and the mask increases your arcane stat by 4 points, but it does lower the HP you get from your flask. Heading through this door and up the ladder to the left, you can take another left to get yourself a golden rune. From there you can head back down the ladder and then jump over the railing, or you can take the path that I'm showing here. The way down the railing is faster, but the way that I'm showing is a bit easier to follow in terms of understanding where you are, in case this is your first run. However you do it, you can run past that enemy and U-turn to the right, and that gets you a Site of Grace. Resting here to reset all of the enemies and to get all of your resources back, you can head out and to the right to get to this door. Another right to safely drop down. And then one more right so you can jump up this hill to get a Somber Stone 6. From there, you can drop off the roof, and to the left of these stairs, you'll find a slanted rooftop you can jump onto. Then you can follow the rooftop to the left, to get 2 Smithing Stone 6. You get a golden rune protected by the lava slugs, and then you can head up the stairs. So here there are 2 lifts. If you take the one to the right, you can find a little side section. I'll say right now, the only things over here are a dragon heart dropped by this magma worm, and a smithing stone 7. So if you care about either of those, you can head this way. If you don't care about either of those, you can take the left lift in order to just continue on. If you do decide to come this way, do be careful about the charge, as the lava that's just passively sitting on the ground, instead of spewed out by the boss, not only downs you, but it also slows your jog down to a walk, makes you unable to sprint, and turns your normal roll into a slow roll. So you really want to avoid being in the lava while fighting this guy, and that really limits how much space you have to fight him. Especially when he leaves the lava around by charging. But with that being said, if you're smart about it, you can eventually take them down, getting a dragon heart. Then you can pick up this smithing stone 7 that was behind them. From there, you can head back to the lift to take it up. Then you can take the other one to bring you all the way up back to a normal elevation. To your left, there will be this black flame monk. Take them out. Here, there is a boss room. So you can head to the left of that to push this lever. This gets you a cutscene that brings this bridge up, allowing you to cross it. And in the first door to the right, you will find that you've looped back to the prison town church set of grace. So, that is a shortcut back to the boss, in case you die. And from here, you can go take on the boss if you want, but if you really want some extra stuff, you can go this side way. If you're interested in taking the side way, just head over to this item. We can pick up a Somber Stone 5, then drop down and follow the path. And I'll say it right now, the only things that you'll find in this side path are a single smithing stone 4, a single smithing stone 6, some runes from a boss, and a fire spear. So, if you really need one more smithing stone 4 or one more smithing stone 6, or you're really looking to get more runes, or you want to try out every weapon that you can, sure, head this way. But for the vast majority of people, I'd actually suggest skipping this, as it doesn't really give you a whole lot. But could I really call this a full walkthrough if I didn't show everything notable? So that's why I'm here. But getting down into this room, with these two enemies. You can take them out and get this set of grace. But before resting at it, you can run down these stairs and drop down to the left. You may want to kill all of these slug enemies because you cannot teleport while an enemy is aggroed on you. And we're going to teleport pretty shortly. Here is that smithing stone 6. Then running back across these mostly sunken pillars. We can find the smithing stone 4. And with the ability to teleport, we will head to the subterranean chamber. The grace that we had just picked up in this room. We'll reset our health, FP, and flasks. From there, we can look left and drop down, and that gives us a quick, safe path into the next section. Running through here, there's a hole that we can drop down, and that leads us directly into the boss fight. With this boss being a duo fight against the Abductor Maidens. Defeating them gets you 10k and the Inquisitor's Grandiale. This being a strength, dex, faith-based spear with fire damage and blood loss buildup. And that's everything in that side path. So we can now teleport back to the prison town church. Again, if you want to do that, you can. But for the vast majority of people, I would say it's probably not worth it, and it's better to just go straight for this much more mainline boss. With this being the Godskin Noble. They do have fireballs that they like to throw out. And he's got pretty good mobility. If he wants to, he can just sprint at you. But keeping a ton of range isn't too viable. But at around half health, he goes into phase 2 where he slams down and does this big roll attack. And if you can catch him on a pillar, then he'll just roll into the pillar endlessly. And if you have range, you can hit him through it. Though that is not the most consistent strategy, if you can get it to work, it is the best. So with that being said, upon being taken out, he gives 50,000 runes and a Godskin Stitcher. With that being a quality heavy thrusting sword with absolutely no gimmick. It's just a pretty basic yet good, very straightforward, honest weapon. With that being said, we can get the Temple of Eagle set of grace, and then we can take this elevator up. Heading straight forward here, onto this balcony and going all the way around where you may see an item. So if you want, you can run all the way over there to grab that Golden Rune 9 and then run back to the balcony. On this side of the balcony, you can hop over, grab this Golden Rune 12, and then start making some progress. You can hop over this bridge with the lava slugs, and you can make your way up. Once you get to here, there will be an Iron Maiden, so you may want to bait out an attack before hopping into the window because they can hit you. After getting past that enemy, in this dark room on the left side, there is an elevator you can take down. With that leading you back to the Temple of Eagle's Set of Grace. You can rest if you want. You get your health, FP, and flask back. Then you can head back over to the elevator. Now, most of the way through, there is a door. But we're going to be coming back here. So I would suggest letting the elevator go all the way up so you can send it back down. For future you. Here, there's a stone sword key. Then through that window, you can find another twinkly scarab. You get a somber stone 5. Then there's a little doorway they can move through to find a ladder. If you're running a melee build, this enemy right here is very dangerous. So, if you can take them out, then I would suggest not sitting at any sites of grace or teleporting, as we will be running through here a second time. Moving forward, in this room there are 3 of these snake lizard enemies. 2 with a curved sword and small shield, and 1 with a big goopy head helmet thing, and a swift glintstone spear. The helmet acts kind of like the Mad Pumpkin head helmet, where they take significantly reduced damage, but beyond them is a teleporter. We will be coming back to this teleporter. For now, head up the stairs on the other side of the room and spend 2 stone sword keys to open this door. From there, you can turn right and walk to land next to this secret door. This purple item is the dagger talisman. This is a talisman that enhances critical hits. So if you're familiar with Dark Souls, this is the Hornet Ring. There you can pick up a rune arc, and then drop down. And you can head to this side of the room to grab the Ash of War Royal Knight's Resolve. This powers up your next attack. If you've been using Determination, this is just a better Determination. You can also find a shortcut door here back to the Volcano Manor set of grace, in case you die. Back into this room. After you get past all of these kind of freaky enemies, you can grab a Seedbed Curse, then head up here, and protected by an Iron Maiden, you can get a Somberstone 7, and you can take a drop down to get back onto this bridge, the one just before the Godskin Noble boss. So, you may remember that teleporter we would get back to. If you took out all the enemies and didn't rest at any sites of grace, you can run back to that teleporter without worrying about the enemies. If you don't care to do the boss right now, in fact, if you follow the game the way that I play it, I would suggest not doing this, as the place that the teleporter brings you to, we will be doing significantly later on in the game. But again, could I really call this a full walkthrough if I didn't show everything notable? So just for the sake of being thorough, we're going to head back to the teleporter. Here, you can find this set of grace, and directly next to it is a boss. With this being Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. Now you can kill him right now if you want, but remember, there's still 2 invasions to go in later areas, and you lose out on some rewards if you kill Rykard now. But you can just save Rykard. Like, you can save him for later, and he'll still be here. So, we're going to save Rykard for the Mountaintops of the Giants. So that doesn't mean we're done just yet, as there's still Diallos' quest, as we can do that right now. By now, he should be holding his head in his hands, and you can talk to him. You can then reset the area. If he's not holding his head in his hands, but he is here, then you can just keep resetting the area and talking to him and eventually you'll get to where you need him to be. Once you get it just as my noble brother says, then you are done here, and you can head over to Jarburg. Where you can make your way to this guy. You can talk to him. You can go through the whole potentate stuff. And whenever he starts repeating dialogue, just reload the area. You're going to have to do this for a decent bit, as there is a lot of dialogue to get through. Now, he mentions that you're very welcome to pick the flowers, and yeah, if you're someone who's into crafting, there's plenty of crafting materials here. So, you can come here at any time you want and grab all of this stuff. You don't need to, but it is an option if you so desire. Now, there's a few things that you're going to specifically want to look for when going through the dialogue. And the first is when he mentions having a new potentate and Diallos showing up. You can see it here. A new potentate has come to the village. His name was Diallos. After you get that, you can head into the shack on the right side of the village, where you'll find Diallos. So you can talk to him. Then once more reload the area. From there, you're just going to want to continue sitting at the site of grace. You may find it useful to rest until night and then start doing this. The next thing you want to look for is him laying down and sleeping. I don't know if you have to talk to him during this, but better safe than sorry. Final thing you want to look for is that big jar guy. Just keep your eye on the big guy and wait to see him being smashed. Once you see that, towards the center of the village, where your small friend will be here, and shortly beyond him, Diallos will be here. Talk to him, he'll die, then you can reload the area. You can talk to your little friend once more, then reload it once more. I'm sorry about someone mowing their lawn. but this is an hour and a half, and I did it in one take, and I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, from there you can get the Newman's Rune, Oslo's Petal Whip, and Diallos' Mask. With the weapon being a quality whip that causes blood loss and can also be infused. Surprisingly good weapon. But with that being said, that is the end of Diallos' quest and the end of what we're doing here for Mt Gelmir and Volcano Manor. There is a little more to go with Rykard and the 2 invasions, but we will be doing those at a later part, as I've already explained. Now, without going through everything name by name, I'm just going to show everything that we've gotten here as a recap in case you've been skipping ahead and missed something, or you're just going straight to the recap to see if anything here is interesting to you. If you did that, sorry about someone mowing their lawn. With that recap out of the way, next we'll be doing Lanedale, the Royal Capital. But with that being said, that's the end of this part. I hope you found it to be educational. I hope you found it to be entertaining. And, yeah.